Hi, I'm Kelsey, and I'm a bookseller at Unknown Publishing.
Hi, my name is Becky, and I sell books at Changing Hands.
We're going to spend some time talking about these bookstores we work at and how we feel they've impacted the downtown community as well as ourselves.
So I guess if you want to start out just kind of talking about what Lawnum is and kind of generally what you do there.
So it was actually Becky who introduced me to Lawn Noma in the first place. She was working there before me, and I was always so jealous of her because I thought it was just the coolest job in the world. And eventually she talked to the owner, and I ended up getting hired. But anyway, so it's a bookstore slash creative venue DIY space located on Fifth Street in Roosevelt, and it hosts a lot of people's published zines and knickknacks and books, as obviously it's a bookstore. And when I first came into Lawn Gnome, I just was mesmerized by it. It just seemed like a really magical place, and it's really hard to describe, for people who've never been inside before. But you walk in and you're just overpowered by the smell of old books, and the floors are the original flooring from the little bungalow that it's built from the 30s, I believe. And it's crazy. And then you walk through it and you're just surrounded by all these bookshelves. You come in the back, and then backyard's got host shows, and it's really cool. And that was actually the first time I actually went into Lawn Gnome, was to go to a poetry slam in the backyard. But yeah, that's basically what Lawn Gnome is.
Yeah.
Should I talk about the events now?
I guess I can just talk about what Changing Hands really quick, and we can go back and forth. Changing Hands is also it's mixed new and used, and Lawn Gnome is just kind of used books. So Changing Hands is mixed used and new books, and the company itself started back in the 70s in Tempe. And there's still a location in Tempe. It's moved a couple times, but it's still got it's got its roots in Tempe, and it's a pretty substantial little indie bookstore that's been really thriving since its creation, and it does the same sort of functions as Lawn Gnome in many ways, where we host different events and obviously sell books, and we've got a little book bar inside, so it's a really interesting space. And it just came to Phoenix the Phoenix location just opened up a year and a half ago, and we've been doing pretty well since then. So let's go into kind of what these different spaces do. So if you just kind of want to start off with Lawn Gnome.
So like I said before, it is a creative venue, meaning it does host several events during the week as well as throughout the year. And on Monday nights, there is a Pink Slip open mic, is what it's called. And basically anybody can come in. It's a kind of a first come, first served type of deal. Come in and sign up, and we have musicians, comedians, poets. We have people who juggle fire. We have people who, do, I've seen people who dance. It's a mixed bag of things, which is, what an open mic is meant to be. And then on Wednesday nights, we have an event every Wednesday called Yarn Ball Storytelling. And the idea behind a Yarn Ball Storytelling is, there's a different theme every single week, and you're supposed to tell a story based on this particular topic. So, for example, let's say the theme is pets. People can come in and talk about their pets, or they can talk about pet names. It's pretty
open to interpretation.
And you've told stories at storytelling before.
I told one.
You told one.
Yeah, no. When I was working at Lawn Gnome, still, I was much like I am now, terrified of people, and especially talking in front of people, just very introverted and awkward, and so I eventually you start getting to know the people that come in every week and the hosts and stuff, and it becomes a really encouraging environment. And eventually, after enough people walked by at the end of each session, at Yarn Ball, and they were like, "You should have told a story." I finally got up there one day and just did it, even though I was terrified. And it's just a really supportive environment, and it was an awesome experience, even though it was terrifying. So that was one of my favorite memories of Lawn Gnome, was when I finally just did it, and it was awesome.
It really is. There's so many people, and myself included. I'm not a performer at all. I hate talking. But this podcast is incredibly painful for me.
It is. We're like awkward little hobbits.
No, that's so true. But the first time I ever told a story, it was really great, because I got on stage and I did my awkward little stupid dad jokes, and people actually laughed at me, and I thought, oh my goodness, that's crazy. People actually think I could be somewhat entertaining, and that's what it is. It's a really good place for people who are not used to performing or talking in front of a lot of people. I think it's a really great place for people to do that.
Or people that are used to performing are there to be supportive too. And
exactly.
It's really awesome.
There's some people who tell the most outrageous and most engaging stories, and I just love it. It's my favorite event at Lawn Gnome. But that's not the most popular event. The most popular event is actually Pep Rally, which starts at every Thursday at 8 p.m. And Pep Rally stands for Phoenix Educational Programming, and it's hosted by Hattie Hayes and Matt Storrs. And it's a lot like TED Talks in a sense, where just like Yarnball, there's a topic every single week, and it goes through the letter of the alphabet. So there's like a different topic for each letter of the alphabet. So last week was E, and it was for ecstasy, and had a bunch of people, slam about ecstasy, write music about ecstasy, talk about their experience on ecstasy, or just feelings of ecstasy.
Yeah.
It's pretty open to interpretation there. So I'm going to play a clip from Pep Rally.
I think it's about the time to get the show started, but before we do that, we have to do a sacrifice.
Sacrifice, 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 sacrifice. Everybody chant, sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Yes, fantastic. All right. As some of you may know, thanks to Governor Ducey, we are no longer allowed to sacrifice live animals on this stage. So we had to be a little bit more creative. So, Hattie, what are we sacrificing? What are we asking our kindly audience to do tonight?
Tonight, one lucky audience member will be sacrificing their own dignity.
As always.
By coming up here and telling us a story behind how they got one of their scars.
So that was my spiel of Lawn Gnome. Now, moving on from that, let's talk about Changing Hands, where Becky works now, since she has graduated from Lawn Gnome.
Yeah, so I feel like Changing Hands it's different than Lawn Gnome, but it's also similar in a lot of aspects. So the Phoenix location has been open up for a year and a half now, and it's really been thriving, I think, because we do so many awesome events. Like, we have authors that come in and do signings, and I mean, Changing Hands as like the big company itself, we do author signings all the time that are really big. Like, Jimmy Carter was in the Tempe store recently, and yeah, we've had a lot of big people like that. But the Phoenix store is kind of, growing in the sense that we're also starting to do bigger events. Like, I think the biggest one over the summer was we did like Daniel Bryan, who's a wrestler. We had like so many people that night. So we're starting to do big events too, and it's just really nice because I feel like we're starting to really, kind of become part of the community. I feel like we already are part of a community, and we do so many different events. Like, we do a lot of workshops. We had an Etsy workshop recently. We've had a lot of downtown Phoenix students, or a lot of downtown Phoenix residents might know Rosemary Dombrowski, and she recently did a workshop with high school girls and kind of teaching them how to do different creative writing techniques. So we've done a lot of workshops like that. We also have just local author signings a lot, so people can come use that space that we have to kind of get their ideas out there and talk about their books and their works and stuff.
Yeah, and if you don't mind me interjecting, what I think is really great about Changing Hands is that it really brings a lot of downtown people to uptown Phoenix. Because I think a lot of times people just kind of stay where they are, and they don't really think, that there is much here uptown and Camelback and Central. So I think that Changing Hands is definitely one of the big businesses that's attracted a lot of downtown people up here.
Yeah, and I really like that it's just yeah, we serve, like, Lawn Gnome, we serve as a space where you can come and exchange ideas and hang out and, you know, be with the community members that, you know, you want to exchange ideas with. So it's really cool. And, yeah, I'm just really proud of the company I work for, and the whole bookstore is really cool. Like, you know, we have so many different cool authors coming up. Like, we have Jewel coming to Mesa, and we're selling books for her. We have, I didn't know who Jewel was until recently, but I guess she's pretty cool or something. We have Dwight from The Office.
Which is so cool.
AKA Ray Wilson. Yeah, he's going to be at the Orpheum. And, you know, Rick Riordan's coming in October, who wrote Percy Jackson and stuff like that. So it's just, and then these events are, like, all over the valley, too. Like, the Rick Riordan and Jewel are going to be in Mesa because we have bigger events out there. But then, like, you know, Rainn Wilson's going to be at Orpheum, and recently we had Christopher Moore at Crescent Ballroom, and we have events at our space. So I feel like Changing Hands is very connected to different places in the community, as well as, like, just being one of the staples of kind of uptown Phoenix now, in addition to, like, their long-lasting, you know, presence in Tempe. So it's pretty cool. And then I think the biggest event, one of the biggest events we've had regularly at the Phoenix store so far is the First Draft Book Club, which is hosted by Barbara Vandenberg at the Arizona Republic. And she basically comes in each month and picks out a different book and has this group come discuss it. And the first one, we had no idea how huge it was going to be, but oh my God, like, seriously, there had to have been like 150 people that showed up to that event. And our store isn't, like, the biggest thing ever, so it was really crazy to see all these people come in and, like, have all this energy and be so excited to talk about a book. Because you think about books, like book clubs, and, you know, kind of people blowing them off or just thinking they're lame or something, and it was just
kind of Stepford wife.
Yeah, and like, there are many cool ones, but to see that many people, like, at one, it was just crazy. And I'm gonna play a clip really quick of the first one that they did. This is just like a little soundbite of the owner of Changing Hands, her name's Gail. She's kind of introducing it, and then Barbara kind of pops in too. So let's take a listen to that really quick.
So, as you can tell, many of you have been in a book group before. This is not your mother's book group. It might not be your father's book group or your daughter's book group. It's a new book group. It's a new way of thinking about a community getting together and reading the same book. And we are extremely grateful to Barbara, you know, this amazing reporter for the Arizona Republic, and the fact that the Arizona Republic even has a book page now. Talk about a blessing in our midst. And she came to us and said, I'd love to do this book club with the First Draft Book Bar. And we're like, oh, that's a good idea, but don't get your hopes up, you know, too high. And so here are our hopes, higher than we ever imagined.
So yeah, if you heard all the obnoxious clapping in that clip, that kind of exemplifies how many people were truly there, and it was really awesome. And it's just so humbling to be able to see, like, so many different people and so many different events all the time. And, you know, working at a space like this, it's so gratifying, and I just love it so much. Plus, you know, being surrounded by books all the time.
No, I feel the same exact way. And I was just talking to Becky about this the other day. We really, you know, working at bookstores just isn't just our jobs. Being booksellers, that's our identity. You know, we're journalism students, and we're very passionate about that. But we also have that. You know, we also have, you know, book selling, which is it's a really great outlet, I think, to kind of get away from really high stress of the Cronkite School. Yeah. Where you're just constantly worried about deadlines and accuracy and blazers, you know. It's just, I feel very fortunate to have the chance to work at a place that I love so much. Mm-hmm.
It's relaxing. Like, it's my relaxation to be able to go into work after school.
Yeah, it is. I don't dread it at all. You know, it's one of those things where I think, oh, I'm so excited. It's the weekend. I get to work at Lawn Gnome. That's so great. You know, that's always how I felt about it.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Yeah, that's it.
How do you end a podcast?
I don't really know. We can add music.
Okay, we're gonna fade out now. Whoa.